The Australian government heard about this tweet and their eSafety commissioner asked Twitter to pull it down.
Nah, that's impossible. It's on the internet. There's a way. Put some pants on and follow me. Where are we going? We're going to Karen's.
Billboard Chris, the activist and Canadian father known for wearing a sandwich board that reads, "Children cannot consent to puberty blockers," and engaging in conversation in viral videos across the world, has mounted a legal defence of free speech in Australia with support of ADF International. Joining me in the studio to tell us why is spokesperson for ADF International, Lois McLatchley-Miller. Thank you for joining us. So why does he need to step up and defend Australian free speech?
Well, no child has ever been born in the wrong body.
The truth.
And this is a message that Billboard Chris has been committed to for some time, so much so that he even straps it to his body and walks around the streets engaging in conversation, because this is fundamentally one of the most important conversations we're having in our era, right? And so Billboard Chris has been engaging in this for a while, and he took to Twitter recently to express concern because the WHO, in setting guidelines on transgender care around the world, had appointed experts to a panel, including a very specific transgender activist who the Daily Mail had reported was engaging also in promoting inappropriate things like bondage and bestiality and things that are not appropriate. Expert in Chris's opinion.
I'm going to say in Chris's opinion.
In Chris's opinion. And so Chris tweeted his opinion, as many of us are prone to do on the social media platform X. He's a Canadian using an American platform to tweet to engage in his free speech. But somehow the Australian government heard about this tweet and their eSafety commissioner asked Twitter to pull it down. Twitter initially said no. After receiving an order to do so, they've temporarily geo-blocked it in Australia so no Australians can hear Chris's message. And a court case has ensued with both X and Billboard Chris fighting for free speech in Australia, because Australians deserve the right to be discussing this fundamentally important issue about the future of our children.
Because I think it was just this week, wasn't it, when Elon was interviewed and he said the only time free speech is important is about when someone is saying something you disagree with. Because obviously if someone says something you agree with, then of course you'd think you like that free speech. Everyone laps that one up. But this is not even necessarily about the topic, is it? There must be many people who disagree with what Billboard Chris is saying, and they have the right to disagree with it. How are they going to know what they're disagreeing with if they never get to read it?
Well, exactly. And I think what makes this case more sinister is this isn't a casual case of cultural cancellation. This is a state authority telling a citizen, not even of their own country, that they are not allowed to express an opinion, A, about an important topic, and B, about a policy-making body that is going to be affecting governments around the world.
But we can use graduated tools like link deletion notices. So if they fail to remove the content, then we can go to the search engines such as Google or Bing to really minimize the amount of content the Australians can see.
But now we just let her delete whatever she wants.
Misgendering? Delete?
Doing great, Julie.
And we're seeing this as with ADF International. We're seeing a trend of this across Western countries, with governments interfering in what is peacefully expressed opinion on Twitter. In Finland, we have another case where a grandmother and politician is at the Supreme Court later this year because she tweeted a Bible verse and expressed concern about her church's involvement in a pride parade. Obviously a controversial topic, but not one that should be shut down by the state. Over in Mexico, we're supporting two politicians who misgendered a colleague on Twitter and have been convicted of gender-based political violence. And a court authority ordered them to apologize twice a day for 15 days online as part of their punishment. And we're supporting them in seeking justice after what happened. But we can see across the world again and again in countries that we expect to be upholding human rights, upholding free speech for the world to see. We're seeing increasing censorship, increasing blasphemy laws, really, against the popular opinions of today.
Well done, Albo. We've given Julie enough power to censor whatever she wants on the internet, and now we don't look like clowns.
I think the important thing is for all of us outside of Australia is to be talking about this, raising attention to these cases, whether it's Australia or Mexico or Finland or Nigeria or any place around the world who have blasphemy laws or hate speech laws, or who are bringing them in, like in Scotland and Ireland, and who are considering bringing in this legislation which will suppress free speech not only in person but online, and show this to these governments before this legislation is passed and say, saying, look what can happen, look where we can end up, so that we can turn this tide around and stop this censorship.
And now we have a government about to introduce legislation under the guise of misinformation and disinformation to formalise the suppression of free speech into Australian law.
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.